you are communicating to God. It's speaking. And that speaking, you need to be aware of it and how it happened. Because there are complexities that makes people not want to speak in tongues because they don't understand the process. When you go to the book of, in the same chapter, when you go to verse 14, it says, for if I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prayeth, but my understanding is unfruitful. When I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prayeth, but my understanding is unfruitful. So think about it this way. You are tripartite. You are a spirit, you live in the body, you possess the soul. So the Bible says, when you pray in tongues, it is your spirit that prayeth. But your mind, in other words, your soul is unfruitful. And I want to explain that word. It's unfruitful. Now, when you read this, you might think it's just a statement, but it's actually explaining or hinting to you one of the most complex process that happen within you during the process of tongues. Number one is that your spirit is actively speaking to God. But number two, your brain, it is not involved in the process of that communication. In other words, it is not involved in the articulation or the creation of words. There is a study actually that was done in America where they show that they put people in a scan, I think it's an ECG scan, where they check the activity of the Broca's cavity, the part of the brain responsible for the production of speech. And they realized that as the people were speaking in tongues, that aspect of the brain which is responsible for the creation of speech was inactive during the time of tongues. In other words, when you speak in tongues, the brain is not involved in the production, but it's a spirit directly to God. So your spirit bypasses the mind to the mouth. So your mouth just utters what comes from the spirit. And actually, if you can monitor the speaking of tongues, you realize that your mind doesn't seem much involved in the utterance. You find that, when you speak, there is that state where you know that there's a process. You think something and you say it. But with tongues, you can sense and discern that the mind is not involved. When I say Lebra Kashokolo, it's like as if my mind has stopped a bit and my mouth is just speaking what it gets from another source. That's what happens when you speak in tongues. Your spirit is responsible for the production, and your word enters what the spirit produces. But your mind is not involved in the creation of those words. That is speaking in tongues.